up, boys? How's it going, everybody? This is Matthew Smart here, and the era of Leafhaven is finally upon us. My peak is finally here after so freaking long. So, in case you don't know, I recently put out a prologue video to a new main series that's coming to this channel very soon. So, if you haven't watched it, I recommend that you watch that video first. It's only 3 minutes long. I'll link it in a card somewhere, so you have a better idea of what I'm talking about today. And to those that have already watched it, thank you so freaking much. The reception on this video has been incredible. I've been brainstorming this series as far back as 2021, to be real with you. And for the most part, I've just been handling it all by myself as I've been going through so many decisions with it. So the fact that I actually have something tangible out there that I put into the world, and to see people respond so freaking positively to it, that has been one of the most validating experiences of my life so far. I received comments from so many people, whether it be longtime viewers of the channel, people that never comment on my stuff. My own dad commented on the video, and he never comments on my channel, and he hates animation. So the fact that even he was behind this and said he loved it, that my soul is exploding with so much joy. I can't even tell you. So why don't we actually go in and discuss a little bit more in detail about what Leafhaven is all about, just so you have a better idea of what you can expect from me and the show and the channel as a whole moving forward. And for the record, this show is still very much a work in progress, so anything that I talk about today is subject to change at any time, so just keep that in mind. So Leafhaven is a machinima series, and if you don't know what that word means, it's basically when you're making an animated film or a series within a piece of video game software. And this series case, it's being made in the 2006 Valve game Garry's Mod, and it's based around the world of the very popular video game franchise Animal Crossing. And the premise is that it's just a very elaborate self-insert fan fiction. I promise you, it's a lot cooler than it sounds. So the series takes place a few days after the events of the prologue video that I put out. Basically, the in-universe Matthew is very sick of his dead-end job and just wants to escape and live a more simple life, which is when he magically finds the ticket to this little town called Leafhaven. What he doesn't know is that the town is filled with nothing but anthropomorphic animals. And so he's shocked that he's basically now being forced to live in this new environment. And so that brings in Tom Nook, who has been building this town that he remembers so much from his childhood for a few months already after the events of bordering on tomfoolery. Yes, my Scott the Woz YouTube poop is canon to the lore of this series. I promise you, it'll make sense eventually, just bear with me here. And so Tom Nook basically takes Matthew in as a mentor to sort of help him adjust to this new normal in his life. And alongside his new animal friends, with the wacky adventures and shenanigans they're gonna get themselves into, Matthew starts to learn what he truly values in his life, and it may be something bigger than what he initially wanted. That's it. That's the general premise of the show. And there's a lot more to it than that, but I really don't want to dig into spoilers that much. But this show is going to have a lot of depth to it. Each episode, while I'm aiming to make them standalone experiences, like you could jump in at any time and still enjoy it, you will be very much rewarded if you watch the entire series from front to back, because there is going to be an overarching lore to follow. There's a proper beginning, middle, and end to this series planned out, but the details are still very hazy at the moment. For the most part, there's going to be a comedic slice-of-life series featuring a ton of different Animal Crossing characters voiced by myself, and a ton of new faces, as well as friends that I may have already collaborated with in the past, but I'm not going to say any names right now. You have to wait and see the show for yourself to see who's voice acting who. And I should probably specify this before I go any further, because I feel like there might be someone that has this irrational fear about it. So I'm going to lay it out on the floor now. Leafhaven is not going to use any form of AI for any reason. All of the ideas, the scripts, the animation, and the voices are being provided solely by me and the other talented people that are going to be helping out with this series. So with all that being said, I'm sure you guys have a lot more questions about this series, and I'm willing to answer them right now. So I put out a post on my community tab twice, basically asking people for questions about this series, and I have them on my phone right now, and I'm gonna answer them to the best of my ability. From that squid, what were the main things and stuff that inspired you to make it? So I could list a bunch of different reasons that have pushed me to make this show, but I'm mainly just gonna list two right now. The first is basically as a way to tell a bunch of my life experiences in a interesting way. There's a bunch of stories I have, both positive and negative, whether it be related to mental health or just life experiences with my family and friends, that I feel like would be very interesting to tell in an environment based off of a series that's all about making friends and talking to others and stuff like that. And then the second reason, for as shallow as this one might be, is SMG4. Now look, I understand that that show in its current form has definitely ruffled the feathers of a lot of different people. Please save your essays for somewhere else. I am not interested. All that you need to know is that in 2018, for a good number of years, SMG4 was one of the coolest things to me. Seeing someone take a game like Super Mario 64 and then just flip it on its head in so many different comedic ways really just sparked a lot of inspiration in me, to the point where it inspired me to make my own fan video about the series in late 2020, and that video basically changed my life in so many ways, and I wanted to do more stuff like it. And shortly a couple months after that video came out, a user named CatCray777 put up a bunch of human models for Animal Crossing New Horizons on the Gmod workshop, and I figured, yeah, let's do that. From Kent No Relation Halstead, hey Matt, the trailer seems to imply that this series has less chaos-driven humor than other SMG4 type content. Is this going to be closer in tone to The Simpsons? Now I'll be honest with you, my knowledge of The Simpsons is very minimal. I've only watched like a couple of episodes in my lifetime, but based on what I know about it, I definitely do think you are on the right track. SMG4's type of humor is obviously more geared towards memes and loud noises and action set pieces, and being 25 years old, it's a little bit too much for my old man brain. What I'm more interested in with Leafhaven is creating a show that's more grounded with reality, to the point where you feel like you could live in this world yourself and it would make sense, and having the humor focus more so on the writing and the interactions between the characters, rather than just throwing Gen Alpha slang and memes at you left and right. Like, I'll throw in a meme in there every now and then, but I don't want it to be the core focus, you know what I mean? I know it's not really typical for Gmod animations. Usually they go for the most absurd stuff possible, but hey, we're breaking new ground, okay? I was way too passionate when I said that. From Desk, hey Matt, Desk here. So I kinda got two questions here. How long will episodes be around? Well, an estimate. And how many will there be in a season if you're doing multiple seasons and not just one big season? So to answer the first question, I'm aiming for episodes to be around 8 to 12 minutes in length. I feel like that's a good amount of time for my stories that I want to tell to properly breathe. The first episode might be a little bit longer just because I have to actually establish this world and its characters a little bit, but 8 to 12 minutes is generally what I'm trying to aim for here. And to answer the second question, I do have plans to break the show up into seasons, but they're not explicitly going to be called seasons. They're still basically going to be seasons, but I'm instead calling them chapters because, like I said, I'm planning for this show to have quite a bit of a narrative focus with overarching lore and stuff. And I feel like calling the seasons chapters is really going to help ring that home, with each chapter having a specific light theme that's going to last throughout each one. As for how many episodes are going to be in each chapter, I'm aiming for around 10 to 20. It's really just going to depend on how fast I'm able to get episodes done. and animation is really hard, so it's probably going to be on the lower end. From Thunderburger79, will episodes be split into seasons, and if so, will you be releasing whole seasons at once or individual episodes one at a time? So I already answered the first part. Episodes are going to be categorized into different chapters, and as for the second part of the question, they're going to be released when they're done, because if I waited to release every episode in a chapter for when the chapter's done, you'd be waiting another 2 or 3 years before you saw the series again, and I don't want to keep people waiting that long, okay? I'm trying to revive this channel, okay? I don't need it dead for another 24 months instead of 6. From Renan Fernandez Cardoso, I really hope I'm pronouncing that right. Is it set in New Leaf, or will you visit other places of the franchise? Definitely the latter for sure. Like, this show is gonna be sort of an amalgamation of all the games in the Animal Crossing series, but by and large, it's its own original story. If you want a more specific answer, the characters and the models are going to be based off of their New Horizons incarnations, but the town itself and the progression of the player character are more so going to be like the older games, so GameCube, Wild World, City Folk, and stuff like that, because obviously, if I were to structure this entire town off of just being able to customize whatever you want, that would be disastrous to keep on making the map and rebuilding it like every time I want to make changes to it. And yeah, I should probably mention this because I forgot to mention it earlier, but I am working on a custom map for this series. I'll show a couple of work in progress screenshots right now. It's really a matter of getting this map done before I can actually start proper work on episodes. From Mr. Green Mario 64, how many episodes do you have planned so far, and what are the themes of the series? So I have a lot of ideas for episodes, but what I will say is that the first 5 episodes, in terms of their premise, are fully set in stone at this point. The 6th episode was as well, but I ran into a bunch of complications for a lot of personal reasons regarding that one specifically, so I'm gonna see what I can do to rework that one, if I can even save it at all, to be honest with you. But the first 5 are fully set in stone at this point in time. And as for the themes of the series, like I said, I'm bringing in a lot of my own life experiences into the matter, and each chapter is actually going to have a small theme that sort of is sprinkled in throughout the episodes that will be built more and more as the chapters progress. Now, the first chapter is going to be very light in terms of that, because I actually just want to establish this world and its rules and its characters before I dive too heavy into plot-related stuff, but big lore dumps. They will be coming eventually. From Hack Tanini Danyasi Reborn, I guarantee I'm not pronouncing that one right. Will Evil Matthew Stewart be in the series? From Kirby Hats 497, is it going to be completely centered around one thing, or is it going to occasionally delve into other franchises or topics? So like I said, this show is going to be tackling a lot of topics and themes, some very silly, and some on more of the serious side, so it's going to be constantly ever-changing because I want the show to stay fresh for however many years I decide to do this. And as for bringing in other franchises, yes, I definitely have plans to do so, but with a little bit of an asterisk there, because like I said, I want this series to feel grounded and believable, so I only really plan to do it with franchises where the art style of said franchise can mesh well within Animal Crossing. So series that have more realistic body proportions or detailed facial textures, for example. At least if I'm bringing the characters in, yeah, those are gonna be off the table. Now if I'm bringing the Animal Crossing characters themselves into a certain franchise and the characters from that franchise aren't referenced and I'm just using the aesthetics or backdrops or whatever, then maybe I can make that work, but I'm not really gonna say anything more on that right now. From Ghetto SMG4, how epic will it be? Now, epicness is in the eye of the beholder, but I guarantee you, it will at least be more epic than Megamind vs. the Doom Syndicate. What the heck happened here? So those are all the questions that I had available to answer. Now, when we get closer and closer to this series release, I'm planning to reveal more bits and crumbs of info to keep you guys interested, because we're still a bit of a ways off from the series properly debuting, because like I said, I still want to finish the map for the series, and I have to work on like the scripts, and animation takes a pretty long time, so I appreciate your patience with me, and I'm planning to have the first episode of the series properly debut in... I genuinely can't promise this at all. I really shouldn't be saying this, but I'm aiming for a summer release. Honestly, the original plan for me was to finish the first episode before properly revealing the series name, just keeping it as Project Nook until a very, very big announcement video, just dropping the beans on everything, and then just have the first episode drop the very next day. But unfortunately, like I said, animation is very hard. I've been taking way longer on this than I expected to. I figured you guys waited long enough. You deserve to know a little bit more about this. And also, it was just a good excuse for me to change my profile pic to the Animal Crossing villager, because I got so sick of seeing my real life self staring into the soul of the viewer for like 3 years now. I don't even own the shirt that I wore in that profile pic anymore. We had to trash it because it got too wrinkled and messed up, so might as well switch it to the character you're gonna be seeing a lot more on this channel moving forward. So yeah, that Animal Crossing villager you saw in the thumbnails of my live streams, those were not just for show. It was all leading up to this moment right here, baby. So that's all I have to talk about regarding Leafhaven for now, but before I go, I do want to address a couple more things about the channel. While Leafhaven is going to be the primary focus of the channel moving forward, I still am going to do other things on here every now and then. For example, the review retrospective stuff I was doing in 2022, like the Super Monkey Ball video and Mario Party 4, that stuff is coming back. I really enjoy doing that type of content. I don't want to give talking about video games up, and it's also generally easier to make a video discussing a video game than animating with a video game. And I might as well say, next video on the channel, it's Super Monkey Ball 2. I know people have been waiting for that one for a long time now. I didn't mean for it to take over 2 years. I'm really sorry about that. Honestly, I got nearly all the gameplay footage I need for that video over a year ago. It's just a matter of actually writing the script, but a lot of personal struggles in 2023 really prevented me from wanting to work on it. So now that I got something Leafhaven related out there, I'm gonna be shifting my focus back towards that video specifically. I also have a successor to the Kirby's Dream Buffet video from 2022 that I've been holding on to since August of 2023. I just actually need to finish editing it. It's a Mario Party Superstars video with the same people, Shotcat734, Mad Warrior, and Thunderbird79. We all got together again and played a round of Mario Party together. I think you're really gonna dig that. That will come out sometime after Monkey Ball 2. And then I have a little entry to make for Shotcat's 100,000 subscriber collab special, and that will give you more of a taste of Gmod content before Leafhaven. That should be going up sometime next month. I'm planning to return to live streaming on this channel because I really enjoy interacting with you guys in the chat while playing video games. I'm thinking of starting sometime in May with a playthrough of the original Yoshi's Island. That's a game I've always wanted to beat, I never have, and I think it would be really fun to do it in a live stream environment. And I really want to do more Mario Kart Deluxe streams online because I know the Booster Course Pass is over at this point, but there are still ways I can make each stream unique, such as switching a mirror mode, or 200cc, or having only bob-ombs on the tracks, or battle mode. I can still find a number of ways to keep streams fresh, and it's always just really fun. So yeah, you'll definitely be having some more videos to snack on before Leafhaven properly drops. I mean it, I'm back on YouTube, and I'm here to stay. I can't be promising that I'll be super consistent. You're still likely gonna see some big gaps in between my uploads, but I'm hoping that I can make them no longer than a month from here on out. That's what I'm aiming towards. I can't promise that, but I feel like that's gonna be the way that I can keep myself the most creatively fulfilled in life. So yeah, that's pretty much the gist of what I wanted to talk about today, and I guess I'll wrap up by saying once again, thank you so freaking much for the support on the prologue video, your everlasting patience with me. it really does mean more to me than you will ever know. I feel like at this point in my life, I really want to take this a bit more seriously, and the fact that my main passion was received so positively, it really warmed my heart, so thank you so much again, and I cannot wait to share more of this series with you very, very soon. But with that being said, still, I'm gonna need your patience moving forward because I'm only human. I have a life outside of YouTube, if you can believe that. I'm still a college student, so my studies, of course, come first, and I want to make sure I'm having a healthy work-life balance moving forward. But yeah, with that being said, I think I'm gonna get going now. I have a lot on my plate. Tomorrow's another day, and I hope to see you then. Later.